family is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Away we go with Purple Access, Zolgad, and Scoggins as always. And Chipper, I'll just start us here. Feels like we've been here before. Feels like we've been here before over many years. Your thoughts, McCarthy, Wentz, and as you said before we turned on the mic, calamity and just the way that things are not going as anyone expected.
Isn't it funny how suddenly things can change in NFL from 1 week? Think about a week ago today. What were we talking about? JJ's it factor. There's something, that the magic he had in the fourth quarter. And it is funny, like, how narratives can change so quickly in this league. And we've been here. We've you hope it doesn't become to the 2023 level of quarterback uncertainty there. But, Judd, I wrote this in a column today. Think about this. Max Brosmer is one snap away from running this offense in the regular season game.
I know. Which sort of feels like what the Jaron Hall thing turned into. No, I'm not saying I think Brosmer's a better quarterback, but right? Because
Well, I wrote about a column today about how Kevin O'Connell's planner and he had this thing meticulously mapped out and they had this vision for it, and here we are in week 3 but Max Brosmer is one snap from being the starting quarterback, in which he would be handing the ball off to Cam Akers at some point and throwing passes to Adam Thielen at one point. One guy was an undrafted rookie, number 4 on the depth chart when training camp started. The other two weren't even on the team. The starting quarterback wasn't on the team. Just this is week 3.
I know. Well, and to me, there's a greater conversation because what's really weird about this is it's not unique. Like, you look around the league and there are, Joe Burrow's done for the season.
Yeah.
And J.J. McCarthy is a theory, and he's unproven, and 7 of 8 quarters have not been good, which I don't think is reason to panic. But the Bengals come here with Jake Browning, almost certainly their starting quarterback for the rest of the season. And so, it is. You're right. I don't think there's a sport that we cover where things can flip quicker just based on, as you said, Carson Wentz is on his couch waiting for I don't know what when training camp starts. And now he's not just here, but he's starting.
Yeah.
Thielen's in Carolina, sort of an afterthought, right? Probably going into his last year. And now he's here. So, okay, they're 1-1.
Yeah.
They're going to play the Bengals on Sunday. They're going to go to Europe to play back-to-back games against the Steelers and Browns. What is your... Because we were both out at TCO yesterday, and I will say this. It felt odd. What is your confidence about this? Because they are 1-1.
I don't know. Carson Wentz talked yesterday after practice, and he said it's been a while since he's played in a game that mattered.
He's right, actually. The Chiefs game, he started from Mahomes. Yeah.
So I don't know if we didn't know what to expect from JJ. I don't know obviously he has experience, and he's played in some high pressure games, but that was a while ago, and he even said he's still trying to grasp this offense. He's still new here. This is he's trying to figure out O'Connell's the play caller, the scheme. And I asked him, I said, haven't done this. This is the 6th different team in 6 years that he's going to start for. I said, haven't gone through this where you've had to do a crash course and learn systems. Does that help any? And he said, maybe. I thought he's like, so I don't know. The injury situation, Judd, is Darrisaw going to play? That'll make me feel more confident.
Justin School's not playing, so Walter Rouse will be your left tackle if it's not Christian.
And I don't think Kelly's going to play. So now your Juergens is your center. So that was an exaggerated.
I know. No, you're just right.
So can the veteran presence of Wentz give him a spark and maybe just bring some calmness to it? possibly. I don't know, Judd.
What do you think the mood is? I didn't stay for the locker room access. The O'Connell felt, for lack of a better term, he felt shaken. Like he's trying to convince himself he's fine, but it didn't feel like O'Connell.
Well, I'll say this: it's a couple things because that's why we talk about the NFL year round, and we talked for months and months and months about, man, this piece is in the trenches and the quarterback and this, and they got it, and here you are 2 weeks in. They had 12 guys on the injury report yesterday. 10 were either limited or, and as he called them, what do you call them, foundational players? These are. So I think that leaves you shaking, and just how poorly his offense has played. I'm sure you're thinking coming out of camp, okay, we've got accomplished what we wanted. Now let's go see it, and then for it to not materialize for 7 of the 8 quarters. I think a couple things. I think because you have so many veterans on this team, I don't think the players are really greatly affected by it. They've all been through weird situations, right? Mm-hmm. And I think they know it's a long season, and I also think they know that sometimes you just get hit hard by injuries, and you got to figure it out. Adam Thielen talked about that yesterday. He's like, you just got to keep finding a way, and that's basically I think what it is like, okay, Walter Rouse, if he has to play, you got to find a way. Whether it's putting Josh Oliver there, you got to run the ball more with something. You got to find a way. You can't just throw up your hands and say, oh well.
Right.
But for O'Connell, I think it's just how badly his offense has looked. They haven't run 100 plays yet.
No, I know. Oh, it's looked at well, and what has to be the most disappointing about the entire thing was, okay, 3 bad quarters against the Bears, who have turned out to be, so far awful.
Terrible.
Now it's 2 games, but 3 bad quarters against the Bears. But then you have that fourth quarter that gets McCarthy the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, and you're like, oh, okay, here it is. And then you turn around in that Falcons game. It was awful.
Yeah.
Like there was you tell me what part of that Falcons game was encouraging. Offense, the defense. I didn't think that the defense was bad, but it was leakier than ordinary.
The run game.
Yeah, exactly right. Bijan and Bijan's a great player.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's great.
But so I think you think the Chicago game, okay, we've turned things around for the final 15 minutes, and then you get to that Falcons game, and now McCarthy, who is your supposed quarterback of the future, is hurt again, and so what? He missed 17 games because he missed the entire season last year. And now he's going to be on game 18 missed.
Well, that's it, yeah. And I thought that fourth quarter in Chicago, I thought there was just so much like built up emotion and just, nerves and rust from not having played together. You were thinking, okay, they settled in, they found it, they got their rhythm, now it's going to carry over. Well, it didn't.
Right.
And this is just, I know Adam Schefter is saying high ankle sprain 2 to 4 weeks. O'Connell said yesterday he's in a boot. McCarthy, and that they're letting it settle down. I don't know how long it's going to be, but to me, when I watch him, Judd, it feels like the game is moving at warp speed. He's like holding on to the ball. He's holding on to the ball at either the longest or second longest of any quarterback through 2 weeks. And so to me, that says there's indecisiveness on what he's seeing. Mm-hmm. Things are happening super fast for him. You're not going to get through that doing film study, doing virtual reality, all the things that he worked on last year. He needs to play. So this is a setback. The only way he's going to work through this is being on the field and going through games. So this is there is no upside for him taking a step back at this point and watching. That to me, he has to go through this.
Well. But that's what's weird about this entire thing. Right now, this is, I think, worst case scenario, because we talked about this. This team is built to win.
Yes.
But the quarterback, unfortunately, for the majority of his time playing so far, has not played winning football. And I agree completely. Now, what's interesting to me about this entire thing, though, is let's talk about, so McCarthy's not been good. Yep. We'll start there. But let's talk about O'Connell's responsibility as well here, though, because it feels like he's trying to make McCarthy into the quarterback he wants him to be, and not adjusting to the quarterback he currently is. It feels like he wants him to drive the ball downfield still, and which I appreciate. He should eventually, but it feels like there is a disconnect in how some of the play calling is being done, including the use on Sunday night of Jordan Mason, when it's weighed against what you think might be the answer right now, and in a month it might change, but I don't know that O'Connell has, from a play calling standpoint, really helped things. Because he's sort of having him do what Darnold did, right? But Darnold's strength was driving the ball down the field. And if you drop McCarthy back, you're right. He's just not prepared completely yet. So how do you get around that?
Well, it's interesting because I think we talked last week, you and I, about rhythm passes, short passes, try to get him in. And Wes Phillips, the offense coordinator, apparently I wasn't there on Tuesday, but he talked about the challenges of that, of being able to read it, see it, throw it before the guy comes out of break. Like it's not as simple. Like we're oversimplifying what, a short passing game and how that clicks and everything. And you're saying basically it's not as simple as people make it out to be. But I also think when a guy is holding on to the ball as long as he is, and you're down to your third tackle and second center, and he's getting sacked that many times and that much. What was the PFF stat? 52.3% of dropbacks he was pressured on, and that was like the highest for the Vikings allowed in 6 years or something. So I think it's a combination of you don't have your starting line out there, and you have a quarterback who's indecisive right now and trying to throw the ball down the field, and it's leading to chaos, really. But we talked about the play call too. I mean, I go back to second goal from the 2, Judd, and you went out and got Jordan Mason, and he's barreling through here. Why don't you hand the ball to him? And instead of asking,
you fake pitch to him.
You fake pitch to him, and Kevin said it was going to be open, but it's like, okay, but I thought this was the whole purpose of going out and getting the offensive line and Jordan Mason, so you wouldn't have to do that in those situations all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey. Okay, so just to be very clear, I appreciate what Wes said, and I agree. Like we do oversimplify things, but let me give you one, for instance, of something I'm not seeing, and I don't get why. Why not slants to Jefferson? Why not just get the ball in his hands? Like, okay, right now it's very difficult, at least for JJ, to get the ball to Jefferson 20 yards down the field, or at least it was on Sunday. He did an excellent job in the fourth quarter in the Monday night game. But why are we not getting the ball, the royal we? Why are we not getting the ball into the hands of your most dynamic player? I don't care if it's 3 yards, 5 yards, or 20 yards. That's the one thing I don't get.
Well, yes. Throw him a screen. Throw him, slants. I mean, something quick. And the other thing I keep coming back to is I thought there would be a real reliance on the tight ends. Has Josh Oliver been targeted yet? I mean, T.J. Hawkinson had one catch late when the game was over, but it's like I think he had 3 targets.
He did have 3 targets. And
where are they at?
And I don't know if it was charged as a drop or not, but there was one play where he should have caught the ball. I thought he didn't. But I don't know. These are questions these are great questions, and that's the thing is, like, how do you reach when McCarthy comes back, and we'll get to that in a second, but when McCarthy comes back, how do you reach a point of okay, the fans and folks like us are oversimplifying things, but there does have to be a way to get him, if nothing else, Chipper, in rhythm. Like it felt like on Sunday he never got in rhythm, and the worse it got, the more up against it, if that's the right term, that he got.
Well, because then you start feeling pressure, and they've had so many. I mean, they haven't run 50 plays in either of the games. It was 49 and 46, so it was 95 plays. I mean, they're not out there on the field long enough to get in a rhythm. I mean, that's the thing. And then when you start having 3 and outs, then I think it complicates it, because then you start feeling pressure. Oh my gosh, we got to make a play now because we haven't done it. It just kind of builds and builds and builds. And so, and then maybe he gets more uptight. Jefferson doesn't, and you have a sack. It's just, that's why I think O'Connell's probably, if he felt shaken, was just like, he hasn't seen his offense look like this.
No, but again, when Michael Juergens has to come in, he's never played in an
I
NFL
know.
game. He's a 7th-round pick. He doesn't know, and I guess he screwed up some of the line calls, which doesn't surprise me. I'm not even blaming the kid. It's hard. But this is where I don't understand. Like, you have to dummy this down at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's, and you know, I think both of you and I were talking in the press conference yesterday. Is like with the questions O'Connell's like, do you have to adjust to the circumstances that you are, because this is not the personnel that you thought you would have, you know, to start the season, and do you have to dumb it down where you have to help that left tackle, you have to help, you know, your quarterback, you have to help the center. You still have to run your offense, and you're counting on him. He talked about, you know, they built this roster because they think that no matter what happens, they'll be able to run the way they want to do it. I don't know that you can do that, though, when you're talking about second and third team guys. They can't do the same things as
with the rookie quarterback at the time.
Yeah.
Or a first-year starter.
Yeah,
essentially
it's essentially a rookie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they have a lot of work to do this week in practice to try to figure this out and figure out now you're changing quarterbacks, but what do they do well and what are they trying to accomplish here? Jordan Mason, heck, he might be their best player so far through 2 games on offense. I mean, he's been productive. You may have to lean on him. And it's interesting, I thought that O'Connell used the term bell cow, like with him. So I think you're going to see a lot of him. I mean, I know they signed Cam Akers, but I think this might be
he strikes me as bell cow.
Yeah, that you can handle a big workload. So it wouldn't be surprising if they really try to establish the run and really pound the ball.
25 touches?
I would think so, probably.
Because he'll catch a couple passes, probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, yeah, I did not understand how Mason was used. And I know that the run-pass ratio, if I'm not mistaken, was not wildly off on Sunday. But I thought the use of the run game was really poor. And the other thing is you had so many incompletions that you were stopping the clock and then putting your defense back on the field. And I'll cut, the run defense certainly to open the game was awful. That first drive was terrible. The fans kept the Falcons from being up 14-rip.
Judd, sidebar, I don't think I've ever heard it that loud in that building than that first drive when Atlanta couldn't. It was unbelievable how loud it was in there.
When the fans forced, I think you're right, but when the fans forced, was it the Texans last year took 3 consecutive or 4 consecutive penalties?
Yeah.
It was pretty loud, but this did feel like a nighttime, we've been drinking all day crowd. Because it was deafening, and it was Metrodome-esque in the sense that you couldn't, like Penix couldn't hear himself think.
Well, down there they had took the timeout, delay of game, and a false start on that first series because they couldn't get the play.
I know, but I credited the fans. I said,
yes, absolutely.
Those first 2 drives, the Falcons scored 2 touchdowns without the fans. Instead, they got 2 field goals. But the way that the defense was constantly put back on the field, it's weird, and this is where O'Connell, I think, struggles a little bit. Okay, in the post game after the Rams, he's like, "We're going to get this thing fixed, offensive line wise." Heck, defensive interior as well. And I appreciated that. I'm like, yes, you're exactly right. And then, in the meeting rooms in March, you start to sign guys. And it's all like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And then you get to game day. And I feel like, especially if things go wrong, that you revert to the play caller that you are, which is a guy that loves to pass. And again, he ran the ball. But it just felt like they were putting a defense that's, by the way, not young, back on the field, and stopping the clock and doing things. And this was a very close game, it 22-6, right? That was not indicative of, in my opinion, of the spread. The final, like the spread felt closer, and so I just didn't feel like O'Connell helped McCarthy or his offense. And with Carson Wentz now, he's a veteran, but as you said, he hasn't played. In a meaningful game. Yeah. So I'm very curious what we see on Sunday from the scripted plays through that. Yeah,
it's 2 things. It's how much of this offense does he feel comfortable with, Carson, for one. It's not like he doesn't know it. You're still trying to grasp it. I'm sure he doesn't know the full thing, but how much does he feel comfortable with, like, running? And then how much is O'Connell willing to say, okay, I want to push the ball down the field. This is who I am, a DNA, vertical passing game, drop back, versus, okay, we have to win a certain way. And he's alluded to this a couple times since the end of the game. It's like, we got to figure out a way that helps us have the best chance to succeed. And to me, that's him like telling himself, I've got to adjust. Don't you feel like that? I feel like he
talks to himself a lot.
That's him saying, that's on us as coaches, not just him, but on coaches to figure out the best.
Yes.
Because maybe that's changed. Maybe, because of where they're at and the circumstances that whatever vision you have of how you want your team to play, you have to adjust to that, to what the circumstances are. And I think we'll see that. I think you're going to see a lot of Jordan Mason. I really do. And I think you're going to have to line up Josh Oliver next to the left. If it's not Darrisaw, if it's Walter Rouse and it's not Darrisaw, you're going to have to put Josh Oliver there. And maybe O'Connell doesn't like doing that as much as he normally, but it's something you may have to do to protect that left tackle.
If Ryan Kelly also is out and he has had 4 concussions like in the last 5 years or something,
and he didn't practice yesterday.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to play. But with concussions, you don't know, and so he is going to be out He's going to be out till he can pass the protocol, and it might take a while. I think you seriously, and I know it's going to be a work in progress to them, but I think you seriously have to consider going out and signing someone who's played center. I'm not saying a Pro Bowl player, but I'm saying a guy that understands what he needs to do for the trip to Europe. Like, I just don't know that Michael Juergens. I feel like you're just asking so much of a young guy.
It's interesting, given Kelly's age and history, that they felt comfortable with Juergens being the backup. Mm-hmm. And maybe they saw something that we didn't see. I don't know, but it looked like he really struggled.
Hard job.
I'm not blaming him, but that one was curious. And that's part of what I wrote today too, is like, we tend to don't really focus too much on players 30 through 50 on a roster until this happens. And this is where you find out, like, your scouting. Did you get it right with your backups?
Well, and I hate to come back to it, but it's probably worth bringing up now. This is where the draft pick's not working out really, really hurts you, because theoretically, if the draft picks work out, okay, those guys are up and coming and they might be future starters. And in the case of a lot of them, they're just not here. Like, those spots are empty. Yeah. They're filled by guys that they've signed. I do have a Carson Wentz for you question next. But first of all, I want to tell you, so I've got my Padres shirt on here, Irish Padres, that joined Purple Daily for the Vikings game watch party from Dublin, from Padres, September 28th, and stay after, as you can see right here on the screen, for a live vent line. Padres in Northeast Minneapolis. They're going to open at 8 a.m., so get there early. The game starts at 8:30. There will be breakfast food from Egg on a Roll, Spy House Coffee, and great, of course, Irish beer. Padres has a ton of TVs, great indoor and outdoor spaces, so hopefully it's a nice day, and is the perfect Irish venue to celebrate the Purples game in Dublin. Space is limited, so be sure to get there before the game and enjoy an amazing day of a purple and green, in a good way, from Padres and Purple Daily. All right, so on Wentz, let's just play this out. Theoretically, let's just say, or I should say hypothetically, let's say he plays well. You got a veteran team. Let's say you win, it's 3 games. Let's say you win 2 of the 3, if not all 3. McCarthy comes back he's ready to come back for the Philadelphia game. He's ready to come back for that, but it's Philadelphia. You got the bye week, and then it's Philadelphia, and you start a gauntlet, okay? Yeah. But if Carson Wentz, and this is a big but, we have no idea. He could fail miserably, and it becomes a non. And by the way, if he does, the season might be done at that point, which is just an incredible thing to say. But if you're O'Connell, what do you do based on this? You got a veteran roster. Can you walk back in that locker room if you're winning and say, we're going back to the kid?
No, if you've won 3 in a row and you have momentum, you don't mess with that in the NFL. Particularly against those teams with a guy who was looked shaky in his first. I mean, it's a hypothetical, but no, I think you have to. It's like anything, you assess the situation in the moment, and you get a feel for how your team's playing, how your offense is looking, how things are going, and then you make that call. But if things are going well, the offense is clicking, you're winning games, I don't think you mess with that.
What's your best guess on Wentz? Like what happened and what do you expect now? Because it's man, he went off a cliff that was very big cliff.
I don't know. I can't pretend to. I mean, obviously saw him, early in his career when he had the one really big year in Philly, but I don't know. I won't pretend to be an expert on what happened in each situation, but 6 teams in 6 years, Judd. I mean, that's
a record.
Yeah, first time for
starting.
First starting, yeah, first time a quarterback's going to start for 6 teams in 6 straight years. So I don't know. I mean, I guess he talked about it yesterday, and having been around some of the great quarterbacks of all time, and learning and coaching, and so you'd hope that he's picked up something along the way, but he was quick to note that he wasn't sure he'd get this chance again, and it's been a while since he's played in a real meaningful game. So I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know what to expect because he's just been. Was he been? Is this 3 weeks now? A month? Basically?
Yeah, he missed He didn't take part in one day of training camp.
Yeah, so
which I actually now rue because it was Sam Howell who you could tell wasn't going to make it, and I don't know what happened there. Like it does sound. It sounds like from the outside that the Vikings approached Wentz in April, right in the spring.
Yeah.
That he's like, I'm going to hang loose here and try to wait for an opportunity. And then O'Connell said, I think a couple days ago, that Wentz had better financial offers at the end of the day than the Vikings. So I just think missing training camp, like that's the one thing when folks say, well, Darnold, look at what Darnold did, but he was here for all the training camp. That's a lot of time to miss.
Well, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's like, that's where you get all the installs and you're basically there all day learning the offense. So yeah, I have to think it's going to be, as much as they say he can do everything, I have to think it's not everything. It'll be a little bit limited in what he feels comfortable running. But I keep coming back to, he has played a lot of games and he's seen a lot of things. So maybe the muscle memory of that, and having gone through it,
doesn't sound real hopeful.
But I mean, it's
right. I got you.
The fact that he hasn't played in, I
know.
mean, it's. I mean, that's the one thing you don't know. But I mean, so I don't know. But I have to think that this game plan is going to be. I don't know if vanilla is the right word, but it's going to be fit for what the circumstances are.
Yes.
Which means they'll come out and they'll throw the ball. Yeah. First couple of plays will be deep shots down the field, of course.
Yep. Justin Jefferson. Now I will say the one good thing is Jordan Addison's coming back for the Steelers game. Yeah. And that should make a difference. But yeah, I just go to Wentz didn't practice in training camp, and you're right, that's where that's where installs completed. He didn't play in a preseason game. He would have played it in a bunch of time there. Mm-hmm. So I got no clue what to expect. Where is your so it's 2 games, he's out now. But where is your McCarthy either a panic or non-panic at right now based on like a very small sample size, but you can't say it's not a concerning sample size?
Yeah, I would say concerned but not panicked. I mean, much like we're talking about Wentz, is like he hadn't played in a game in 600 days. So to think it was just going to be, man, he's going to hit it running, and the nerves combined with, I don't think his line's been good, combined with, I think the game is playing really fast for him right now. I don't think he's caught up to the speed of it yet. But it's 2 games. It's like, I know some people think, they're ready to move on to the next quarterback, but it's like, it's 2 games. Let's, let him settle down. Let him get his, let him just get settled in. And that's the disappointing thing about this injury is like, that's what I was saying early in the show is like, he has to go through this. Like, there's no way he's going to get comfortable with the game speed without being in the game. So this is a not a major, I mean, it's a step back. It's a setback. So, but it's hard to get a good evaluation from him when he's missed the whole season, and now he's going to miss a couple games probably,
Yes.
They're just calling it like week to week, but I mean, if we're being realistic, it's probably going to be multiple games. So there are moments where like fourth quarter, we saw it at when they got him down to the 2 the other day, he had those back-to-back throws, I think to Naylor, and was it Jefferson? Thielen. I think it's Thielen. Where you saw those, it's like, okay, yeah, there it is. But then you also have Justin Jefferson's wide open over there, and he skipped a pass over there. Like, man, that's just one you got to be able to hit. It's like, I just think I think everything, again, I keep coming back to the speed of the game. I feel like he's sped up, or the game is sped up, and he's just kind of indecisive right now.
Yeah, I think part of the problem, too, is because it's funny, the training camp practices, obviously a very different place, but the training camp practices, there were a lot of things that looked pretty good that haven't looked good, and I think his mechanics, I think because he sped up so much, his footwork, and, KOs talks about this all the time, your feet are tied to your eyes, right?
Feet and eyes in the right place, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like his feet, in some cases, he's skipping passes because his footwork is not sound.
Well,
because he's so sped up.
And somebody pointed out to me yesterday, because I said that, and they said that was the very next play after he hurt his ankle. So I guess maybe that's not fair of me to, maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But they said it was the very next play, so maybe he was still feeling the effects of that. But the point remains that he's off. And some of these, a lot of times, and I think it's the timing and everything. So he just needs the reps, Judd. He hasn't had, not even 100 snaps. So, go ahead.
And the unfortunate thing is, it'd be much, if you could get him in the next 3 games, reps against the Bengals at home, the Steelers neutral site, and then the Browns, right? But this is where it gets very difficult. If he is set to come back for after the bye, it's Eagles Thursday at Chargers, then the next Sunday at Lions, and then Baltimore. Now, Baltimore's defense looks far shakier than it ordinarily does, but the point is, like, you would have rather, if you were just going to see this through, which they probably need to do, these next 3 games are far preferable to the 4 after the bye. So, yeah, it's a really interesting trying to meld. This is a veteran team that wants to win now, but we need to develop this quarterback. And, oh, by the way, it's not going to go as smoothly as we thought. Like, it's a very interesting dance.
Yeah, and it's it hasn't just been like a couple bad mistakes. I mean, Judd, the offense has just been non-existent, particularly. I mean, there wasn't a lot redeeming about that. So it's like, this is more than bumps in the roads here early on. I mean, this was, they've got to really figure out some things. And you're right. It's like these next 3 weeks are going to be the time to really get him comfortable, really get him acclimated, really in a rhythm, feeling good before you hit that tough stretch. And now he's going to be possibly sidelined for this stretch. It's like, then what do you do? It's like.
Right. Well, and if Wentz doesn't play well, it might be just.
Yeah.
Like if they don't win, if they go 1-2 or they go 0-3 in these next 3, then you probably do bring him back and just say, let's continue to see this entire thing through. Yeah, it's a real conundrum because a lot of these guys in McCarthy's shoes have been on, mediocre to bad teams. And so you just swallow hard and say, I hope it works. This one is, there is pressure on O'Connell and Kwesi and the whole crew we signed, nobody, I don't think anyone is putting as much cash out there, not cap-wise, but the outlay of cash as the Will family is. They don't expect to be told, hey, you know what, sorry guys, didn't work out.
It did. As I go back to my original point, think about how much changes in 1 week in the NFL.
Well,
what are we going to be talking about next week, Judd? I mean, it's like it could totally swing back the next way.
You're right. The injury report, Ryan Kelly, J.J. McCarthy, Jonathan Grenard, oblique, which concerns me a lot, Donovan Jackson, Theo Jackson. What I want to know is, how on earth are we talking about 18 games? We should go back to 16. If you're
this
gonna,
week 2, week 3 now.
And it ain't happening, but if you're going to do this, you should actually contract like 2 teams to make the talent pool better, because you need the talent pool back into the rest of the league that has, because the scary thing about this is, Chipper, it's not a Vikings thing.
No. This is
like you
this
watch
is
these
league-wide.
games.
Yeah.
You watch these games. I was watching the Buccaneers play. They're losing guys left and right.
It is.
And we're going to play 18? We shouldn't play 17.
Well, they'll be at 20 before we.
I know. But where are you going to find? Like you're talking some top end talent.
Yeah, and I made this point too. Teams are investing millions and millions into sports science and all these different things. It's luck. Avoiding injuries is luck because the game's so fast and so violent. It's like all those things help. I don't want to minimize them because they clearly help, but sometimes it's just how you step. It's luck. I mean, it's just like
Or concussions.
It's like
Concussions are not. You can't be like you can have better equipment, better helmets, but
some of these things are just going to happen no matter how prevented. O'Connell didn't play anybody in the preseason to get his team healthy for the season, and here we are 3 weeks in week 3, and it happens. This is what the league is, and I'm convinced that adaptability is more important, or as important sometimes, than all the planning you can do, because this stuff happens, and you've got to figure out a way to mitigate it.
Yes, and on McCarthy in particular, you can say, well, he shouldn't run. But if you take away his running, you're taking away his game. And by the way, he was going towards this, and he was going But I mean, JJ McCarthy. If JJ McCarthy is going to continue to play, which I fully expect this season, he has to run. He's not at a point yet where the dude could just drop back and pass. So, and he was trying to get to the sideline. Like, how do you go back and re-engineer that play? I can't do it.
You don't. No, you got to take off from behind. Yeah.
Yes, he was doing the right thing. And plus, we saw it in training camp. We talked about it. Him running is a big part of his game.
Yeah, that you still got to play. You can't, say, well, you shouldn't run. Well, that's okay. That's not realistic. It's nice to say it, but it's not realistic. You got to play. It's just, this happens. I mean, but you're right. Like, but they'll add another game, and it's like, I don't know how teams, it's got to be. I think that's part of why, O'Connell is like, man, this is week 2 and we're already signing quarterbacks and running backs and these different things, and I'm down to my third tackle.
What was KO's quote? We're an entertainment business.
Oh, you got a great quote from him. Yeah, he said
we're not scripted.
He said we're in the entertainment business, but in every other facet of the entertainment business, it's scripted. We're not scripted, and he's right. It's like, you get handed whatever it is each week with the injuries, and you got to deal with it.
You're right, though. All right, Chip Scoggins, great
stuff.
Brother. We'll talk next week about the result, what has happened, how Carson Wentz is now on an MVP track after playing the Bengals. This is Purple Access.